welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Wednesday, May 2nd, 2012. President Obama popped up in Afghanistan yesterday for a quick 12-hour visit. He's already on his way back home. In Beijing, China, the dissident that everybody's talking about, Chen Guangcheng, actually emerged from the American embassy. He was escorted by the American ambassador to China, Gary Locke, and together the two of them drove to a hospital in Beijing where he was checked out. Apparently he sustained injuries climbing that big wall that everybody's been discussing. He is blind. And he was reunited with his family. In the car ride on the way to the hospital, he spoke to Secretary of State Hillary Clinton as well as the Washington Post. Apparently after negotiations, the Chinese will allow him to attend a university and supposedly to live in peace. The Americans promised that they're going to continue to monitor his case. The Chinese have demanded an apology from the Americans, which the Americans have refused to give. Meanwhile, on schedule tomorrow, Secretary of State Clinton and Treasury Secretary Geithner are going to arrive in Beijing for the long-awaited economic talks. The Chinese have indicated that the dissident's case will have no bearing whatsoever on those talks. Well, you knew that this was going to happen. Kevin McCarty, one of the most influential insurance commissioners in the United States, had a couple of comments to the Financial Times about Europe's Solvency II. He said that the Americans have no intention of going through a checklist of proposed Solvency II directives. He said, despite claims that insurers have been saying that if the Americans don't meet the equivalency test for Solvency II, they may cease writing business in the United States. I mean, nobody takes that seriously. The United States is the biggest market for insurance. McCarty said, I don't mean to suggest that we don't have anything to learn from the Solvency II process, but I don't think that Europe necessarily is the only place you can learn anything from. He said, no disrespect to the EU, but I think it's kind of interesting at best that they would want to make a comparison to a system, Solvency II, that isn't even in place yet. It's a theoretical system, measured up against one in the United States that's been tried and tested for decades. He said it's kind of silly to even consider that an equivalence process. I'll tell you, the Solvency II thing is not going to go away. The big Canadian company Fairfax Financial Holdings, which owns, among other things, Odyssey Re, one of the biggest reinsurers in the world, fell to a net loss of $1.3 million in the first quarter. Well, keep this in mind. They had $838 million of realized and unrealized gains from the strong equities market, but they also took a charge of $823 million on equity hedges, losses. Arthur J. Gallagher, the broker based in Itasca, Illinois, announced that their first quarter earnings rose 85%. That's good news for them. The Mississippi Windstorm Underwriting Association, which is the insurer of last resort for about 40,000 Mississippians, reported that it has just purchased $815 million of reinsurance for the coming hurricane season. They paid $69 million for it. Last year, they paid $69 million for only $750 million, so prices are going up. Bolivian President Evo Morales, who has that shocking head of wonderful black hair, announced today that he's going to continue to nationalize the Bolivian electrical grid. He sent troops yesterday on May Day to the Spanish-owned Red Electrica Corporation. This would be the second Spanish-owned company that's going to be nationalized in South America recently. The Argentinians are nationalizing Repsol, the Spanish energy company. A strong earthquake struck Mexico late yesterday. It was about a 6.1. It was down by the Guatemalan border. No reports of any injuries or damage. Record high unemployment in the 17 countries that make up the euro have now reached about an 11% rate. This is now for the month of March. The studies come out now after about 2 months. And they're prompting talk right now, once again, of anti-austerity measures and prompting the governments to consider actually spurring growth by spending. It's unbelievable how quickly things like this can turn on a dime, but one after another the governments are being voted out of office and the public is manifesting its discontent. No more austerity. Start spurring growth, start spending. Wouldn't it be something if it turns out to be as easy as that? We'll see. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.